everyone, my name is Abby Andrew and welcome back to the René of Paris channel. I'm the alopecia ambassador for this channel, meaning I talk about wigs from the perspective of someone who wears wigs on almost a daily basis and has had hair loss since about the age of 2 years old. In today's video, I'm going to be going over a highly requested topic, and that's how to detangle your wig. And of course, I'll be going over all of the tools and techniques you'll need to keep your wig looking in really great condition for as long as possible. Starting off this video, I'm wearing Astrid in Marble Brown R, which is a really fantastic, cute, short wig. But here in front of me, I have a bunch of wigs that I'm going to show you that are some of my favorite wigs of all time, which of course means I wear them a ton, which of course inevitably means they're going to get tangled on occasion. Now, a good quality synthetic wig won't tangle super easily like some really cheap wigs you'll find, like party store wigs and things like that. So these higher quality synthetic wigs don't tangle nearly as easily as like a typical costume wig. But inevitably, hair tangles, whether it's the hair growing out of your head or if it's a nice quality synthetic wig. So in this video, I wanted to show you how to detangle your wig properly. The first thing I would recommend having on hand is just a wide tooth wig comb. Another great product I would recommend using to detangle your wigs is the René of Paris Revive Liquid Enhancement. This is such a fantastic multi-use spray. You can use it to just eliminate static in wigs, to minimize tangling, to restore curl patterns. It's great for so many things, but of course it's really good for detangling your wigs as well, and I'll show you how to do that in this video. The first wig I'm going to be detangling is my Tatum wig from Amore. This is one of my favorite go-to wigs of all time because it's just so easy to throw on and not even think about styling. It's just a really great short style with the monofilament wig cap. One of my favorite go-to wigs of all time. I've always had a Tatum in my collection ever since about 2013. And of course with synthetic wigs, you do have to replace them every couple of months once they start to get on the older side. But a Tatum wig is one that I always like to have in my collection. Shorter wigs don't tend to tangle as much as longer wigs, or at least just not as quickly, but when it's a wig that you love and wear very often, then a little bit of tangling is kind of inevitable. So I just want to show you how to get rid of that with both a short wig and a long wig. So here's what the wig looks like right now. These tangles aren't so severe, but I just kind of wanted to show you how to get the tangles out of a shorter wig before jumping into a longer style as well. So here's the before. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it on this mannequin head to work with it on there. You don't necessarily need to use a mannequin head. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the wig and just rest it gently on a flat surface like my bed or something like that, and kind of just very, very gently use the comb, starting from the ends, to work through, especially the nape of the neck area is where you tend to get the most tangles, especially in the fall and the winter when you're wearing longer garments or scarves that kind of rub up against that area. That's a part that I find typically I'll need to go and detangle a little bit more often. But if you want to do more of an intensive detangle, a wig head might be useful. So once I move on to the longer wig, I'll show you how to use the Revive Liquid Enhancement, but with a very slight tangle like this, it might not be necessary. If you wanted to, you could just very lightly spray this and kind of work it through the hair, and that does help get some of the tangles out. But I'm just going to go ahead and start with my wide tooth comb and just very gently start from the ends and just work through these tangles. When you hit a part where the comb kind of gets stuck, make sure you're not yanking it through. Just very gently kind of work through it without pulling the hair too hard. Something you want to avoid when you're combing or brushing your wigs in general is stretching out the fibers, because if you stretch the fibers, they can't necessarily go back to how they were. So when you do hit a tangle like that, you can kind of just pull through very, very gently, or kind of use your fingers to separate the knot. Whenever I'm brushing or combing a wig, I always start from the ends and just very gently work my way up. Now I will switch to the longer comb just to cover more ground now that the major tangles are out. You don't necessarily need to change tools this often. I just like to work with what I have, just to show you how to work with each product depending on what you have. I will go ahead and just spray a bit of this into the hair, the Revive Liquid Enhancement. Just hold it about maybe a foot away or so. Just give it a light spritz. Just kind of work that through with your fingers. This just helps to freshen up the style a bit and just get out those final tangles. Sometimes when you're combing out the outside of the wig hairs, you're kind of missing these inside tangles. Sometimes I like to just kind of turn the wig over and work with the back of it as well. So I'm just going to go in and do the same thing on the underside of the wig. Now again, these tangles weren't really that bad to begin with. I just wanted to show you some techniques for detangling any of your shorter styles or wigs that aren't as tangly. Now I will switch over to a wig that has a bit more tangles and show you how to work through those as well. So the next wig I'm going to be working with is another one of my all-time favorites, and again, it's one that I wear very frequently. Now the fibers of this wig are still in really great condition. It's still a relatively new wig, but like I was saying before, the area that gets the most tangly if you're wearing it day after day is usually the nape of the neck area. So that's definitely the part I want to focus on. And once I comb out this wig, the fibers are just going to look so much nicer again, especially once I use the Revive Liquid Enhancement and this wide tooth comb. So here's what this wig looks like before detangling it. Again, it's really not in such a bad state, but what kind of happens when the hair starts to get tangled is it kind of will bunch together like this, which once you comb that out, it won't stay like that. Now for this wig, I am going to start with the underside at the nape of the neck. So because these tangles are a little bit more tangly than on the previous wig I was working with, I will go ahead and start with spraying a bit of the Revive Liquid Enhancement in. Now something you can also do is to section off the hair so you're working with one section at a time. So just take some clips and section off a part and just work with that area. So I'm just going to use any basic hair clip to just section off a part of the hair. So I'm just going to take some of the Revive Liquid Enhancement and just spray a little bit in. Then I'm just going to use the same wide tooth comb and just start from the very ends of the hair. You can hold it from a bit higher up to make sure you're not pulling it too hard from the root, so if it does get stuck, your hand will stop it. This side is already looking way better than the other side, so let's go ahead and move over to that. If you ever get to a particularly difficult tangle, I just kind of use my fingers and very gently work my way through it. So now that we've tackled that problem area in the back that was just a little extra tangled, now I'm going to turn the wig right side out and work with it from the outside, but you can already see what a difference that made. Now ultimately, detangling your wig isn't necessarily a lengthy process. I'm just going through it in great detail so that you know how to do it for yourself, but usually once you get used to a process like this, you can do it very quickly. So the actual maintenance and detangling process isn't really all that difficult once you get used to it. So you can already see what a difference that made in terms of making the wig look nice and flowy and natural again. So again, these fibers were still in really great condition, but once they get those tangles in it, all you have to do is do a very simple and very gentle comb through and you can get the fiber looking nice as new. Now sometimes I do find that adding the final touches while it's actually on my head is just a little bit easier, so I will take the comb, just comb through it a bit more. That way you can style the bangs to your liking. And once you get the big tangles out, you can comb through it a bit more freely without worrying about damaging the fiber or pulling at a tangle too hard, but when you are getting out the big tangles, definitely start from the ends and work your way up. And with a straight wig like this, you can even go in with a brush afterwards just to finish styling it. There we go, and now Shilo from Noriko looks good as new. And here's the end result of detangling my Shilo wig. Again, it just looks so much better with a little bit of detangling with just a basic wide tooth comb. So that's all for this video. I hope it was helpful to some of you watching today to help keep your wigs looking nice and new for as long as possible. Definitely comment below if any of these tips help you out or if you have any other tips that you'd like to share with our wig community here. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. And subscribe to our channels both on YouTube and Instagram to stay up to date with our latest releases and all sorts of wig tips and tutorials. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.